Have you ever wondered what happens when you get one of those iBuyer offers from one of those online websites like Opendoor? Well, we just got one, and originally they offered $894, and now they're trying to walk it back like $200,000. Let's find out why. Hey guys, we are back with another installment of our weekly chat, and it is definitely the Mondays. How are you guys feeling? I am feeling like mashed potato brain right now.
I've heard that about you.
It is wild. Oh my goodness, this weekend I had a few incidences of mashed potato brain, right, Elise?
I'm like correcting him on the side text message. He's like, these people think I'm your assistant first year.
I seriously
Like,
sounded
they
like
might.
a newbie.
Did you just have brain lapse? You just couldn't remember what you're supposed
The
to do
kids
anymore?
were running around the dinner table, and it was just I was like done. The weekend was done. It was 4 o'clock on a Sunday, and you know, once it's like day 2 of the kids being out of school, you are just fried.
And hey, that's why we're a team, here to help each other out.
So the one thing you guys could do to help us out is hit that like button. It helps the YouTube algorithm. It does not cost anything, and it just promotes this video to more people that might be able to find this information helpful in their real estate needs. So let's talk about what we just went over, the Opendoor offer that we got on one of our properties. Okay, so we have this listing, and it's been on the market for about 7 days.
Which right now might as well be 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Market shifting, y'all.
I'm almost treating it like 1 day per week. Like each day is like another week on the market.
Compared to what it used to be.
Right, and so I'm in constant communication with the seller, trying to make sure we course correct in a timely manner so that we don't miss anything. What we encountered was he had actually reached out to get an offer from Opendoor, just unbeknownst to me.
Before you guys hit the market.
Yes,
Yeah, I
before
was
we
just
hit the
gonna
market.
say that,
Yeah, before we hit the market, and the offer was great. It was pretty high. It was $894.
Higher than you even listed for.
Right.
Now sitting for.
Right. So I ran comps, and we came up with a price of $849, and he was totally cool with that, even knowing that his offer from Opendoor was $894.
Wow, that shows that he trusts you.
It does.
Which is nice.
And Opendoor has some fees. There were some fees associated with that, and so he thought, okay, well, let's run where the market goes, and maybe we'll get multiple offers, and we'll even go above $849. Well, lo and behold, we didn't. And so now we've revisited that offer with Opendoor. And I actually had a little bit of lapse in the communication and getting the offer sent back to us now that I'm the agent. So they had
From Opendoor.
Right,
Okay.
exactly. So they had to restructure their offer and send it back to me. But before they sent it, they said, you know what? Let me just read the text. It said, got the message from the team. We could get a low offer out on this, likely, but we've only had one sale in here in the last 16 months. Our prelim offer was too high because lack of data to draw comps. The highest sale is $660,000.
So their algorithm is just completely failed there.
I was like,
First it's too high, but then
Whoa.
the only comp that they're stating does that exist? I mean, how would you price at $849 if a $660 existed?
I have no clue. He said, I think they'd be disappointed with our offer if we tried to get it out, though, TBH, to be honest. So I priced it at $849 because there were exact same size units in a neighboring community that were semi-detached, so sharing one wall, and I subtracted $100,000 off that. So they were at $949, and I said, okay, let's subtract $100,000 for the wall. I thought that was fair. And boy, I went on Zillow and I went on Redfin, and they all had numbers that were in the 9s on their algorithms. And I'm like, where is Opendoor getting a 660?
These algorithms are doing them no favors. I mean, conversely, we're on the buyer side with Opendoor now. We just opened escrow yesterday with Opendoor. And it was their second price drop that we finally swooped in and got the property. They'd been listed $40,000 or $60,000 higher than where we eventually got it, and they'd sat on the market for 2 months.
That's
in this market where most of these houses down there were moving with multiple offers first weekend. So these algorithms.
Well, Opendoor properties, even during this boom through COVID,
We saw
have
that
sat.
one in Long
I recall
Beach,
them
remember?
being priced higher.
Oh yeah, that one we
I just looked at
toured.
it. So we toured this one in Long Beach. We actually showed it on one of our feature
Yes.
videos back in like February when we were showing the difference between that awesome house in Murrieta and the one in Long Beach. That was Opendoor. It's still on the market. It's under $1 million now.
Whoa.
They've dropped it.
That's
by
like 4 months at this point?
$300,000. Well, and at that point, it had been on the market for like 120 days. So
Oh.
it's now been on the market since like last summer, and it's dropped in price like $300,000. Like it's
Okay,
crazy.
so this is just a glaring example of the flawed algorithm, if you will. and how consumers should still rely on a human,
Person.
a body,
A
with a
person.
brain,
Mm-hmm.
not a computer analytics that are, who knows where they're getting
It's
these
crazy.
numbers? That's wild.
Yeah.
So that shot down, and any further communication with them?
Well, I'm definitely trying to get a more solid answer. So they do have a person, a human, coming out to the property to revise and revisit the offer, and that's taking place today.
Okay.
And then we should expect a response back within 2 to 4 days. And for this particular situation, without going into too much detail, it's definitely on our radar. It's something that we're open to looking at, and hey, get a body out there. These are brand new condos. They're like 2 years old.
Yeah.
And so they're pretty desirable. I just find that with low inventory, we could still probably get something out of them. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
keep us posted on that. That's
But
fascinating.
yes, so don't be hook, line, and sinkered by your
as soon
online
as you get that
offer.
pretty email with the
Because
fancy
it's really
number.
easy for them to walk it back.
Because, by the way, if you tried to get an offer from Zillow on your property, they're not going to send you one because they're not buying anymore.
Because they lost, how much was it? $8 billion?
$880
I don't know.
million
It was a
on
lot of
this
money.
experiment. So
Yeah.
I digress.
Okay, well, that's fascinating information.
What else, man? Have you guys seen this? I think we talked about it, but have you all seen? California is issuing this forgivable down payment loan program. We had a lot of people send it to us last week. It's called the Forgivable Equity Builder Loan. It basically it's a big
Sounds
PR move.
pretty.
It sounds nice, but it's very hard to qualify for. So the idea is that they will issue a first-time home buyer. So you have to be a first-time home buyer. They'll give you a loan up
For your
to
primary residence.
Yep, up to 10% of the purchase price of your home. It's forgivable if you occupy your home as your primary residence for 5 years.
5 years.
Which
okay.
is very easy.
Sounds great, but the big thing that's going to be really challenging for anybody to meet the needs of this program is that you have to make 80% of the area median income to qualify. The income limit for that anywhere in Orange County, I looked in Rancho, I looked in Corona, it was in the 60s. You have to make, and that's combined household income.
60s.
Yeah, it was like $68,000 in Orange County. I think when I looked in Rancho, it was like 62.
You can make 60 working at Target as
But like
a
how you would
cashier.
actually then qualify for a mortgage
Right,
to be able to
exactly.
afford a home at $62,000, it's very rough.
Greg
so.
said that's like a $390,000 single-family home, low taxes, no HOA, maybe qualify you.
Where
Now
do we have
find
where do we have a $390,000 home?
Detached, no HOA.
Right.
don't.
So like there was a $325,000 condo up the street from me. It was a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 600 square foot.
Plus
but then
HOA.
it's got HOA. That's
Yeah.
like 300. So I don't know if that's going to
That's
qualify
gonna
because
walk
you're.
back, yeah.
Yep. So very hard. But I mean, we've talked about programs like this forever. We have these things on our radar for our clients.
We've had these for a long time, and I actually had a client that used one in Running Springs, and perfect client situation. Single gal wanted to buy a home in a Running Springs, so it's up in the mountains, and so prices are obviously going to be a little bit lower. And this is a 1-bedroom house with a loft, a cabin, I would call it. And she only had her income, so she qualified. She met all the criteria, and this was done through Bank of America.
So it's their program?
Bank of America has an in-house program that they are trying to build up median household, home values, home ownership, and they've had this forever. And it was, other than meeting the income guidelines, it was very easy to go through. The program was done and done. It was easy.
Oh, wow.
But
Well, and like
it's been there.
PWR, our local real estate board that we're members of, has that program where they give you it's if you go to some
grant?
class, a grant, it's like $1,000, whatever. I don't know, $10,000. I don't remember now off the top of my head because I haven't had anybody that has qualified. Every time I
Very hard.
qualify a new buyer, I look at those things to see if they'll meet the needs, and they just never meet the criteria. If they're able to buy a home, they usually don't meet,
It's very, very
That's
hard.
crazy. And then the income does go up as you increase the number of people in your family, but typically those people in the family are kids, and so they're not generating an income, so
Yeah.
that's tough.
It's
There was
dependence,
one
yeah.
I had people that would have qualified in Brea. There's a median income housing development that we were looking at back in February, and for the number of people in their house, they like barely met it. It was like this very small band. They were looking at like the last 12 years of your income, or 12 months of your income, and like you said, bumping it up for the number of people in your household. And because they had just had another kid, they bumped into the 4-person band, and so he didn't make too much. It was like so
wow,
narrow, and
yeah.
it would have worked, but.
Yeah.
We're
It's
always
hard.
paying attention to these things because they're great if they work, but
Yes.
So there's a lot of cities have the affordable housing program. We sold one in Fullerton.
Weren't you talking about one in Huntington Beach?
There's
too?
there's a site in Huntington Beach. I think it's 80 units, part of the affordable housing program in Huntington Beach. Amazing location. I've had many clients over the last week, past clients, all that, send me this and be like, can you get us more information on this property? Because you get a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage property a mile from the beach, and it's $576,000. You're
Should be
like
4 times that.
stars in your
Yeah.
eyes. And then you look at the supplement in the MLS is 214 pages, and all of the rules, restrictions on how to qualify.
Fine print of 214 pages.
In what you're allowed to do with the property and XYZ, and then the income guidelines were really, really strict. I think a family of 2 could make no more than like 102,000. Family of 4 was like 128. I think you also mentioned
So
saw
hard.
the same in Brea. So it's really hard. They exist, and we're not shying people away from them. They're just harder to qualify for.
But if you do, gosh, take advantage.
Oh my
goodness.
gosh, run,
Right.
run, don't walk, run.
But this should be known that as part of our pre-qualification process with buyers is we do ask you qualifying questions, income, FICO,
With these
family
things
size,
in
where
mind.
so we're working these into our, so if we don't mention these programs to you as a buyer, that's because we've already ran through that in our head and you don't fit that need or you don't have that need, so.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
top
speaking of
mind.
what we do, I only want to mention this real quick. We don't have to go into detail, but you guys see the articles. The Great Resignation is having a extreme plethora of people applying for their real estate license. I think it's
Everybody wants to do it.
one of the number one things Googled now, how to become a real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
So we're having an influx, which is interesting timing this year as we're starting to talk about technology we're not even used to with the crypto buying and the NFTs and affordable housing programs and all of this stuff. So
Well, you know what? I can see why over the last 2 years people have heard, oh, you sell a house, it sells in a minute, you get 100
Right. You
put
offers.
a, yeah.
Sounds like it's going to be easy, right? Well, one, it actually hasn't been that easy. When you're a listing agent, my God, your phone is ringing off the hook.
You have to take the weekend off.
And to do your
to do
job
work.
well, so many don't do their job well, and it's painful on the buying
Oh my
side,
gosh.
right? But if you're doing it right, and you're actually answering the phone, and you're answering questions, and you're communicating, good Lord, you're busy running the whole weekend. It's exhausting, right? And then what happens, as Louis said, the market is shifting. And now when you're back to a more normal market and you don't have 100 offers, you have to make sure your listing is real dialed in. Your price is really accurate. It's these things, these shifts are going to be what weed out people who don't know what they're doing.
It's an attractive market because of the flexibility in your schedule
Sure.
and
It
all of that
is,
stuff.
but I get a
it's
lot of
not all
comments.
glory.
I get a lot of comments from people that say, "Oh, I was thinking about doing this part time. What do you think?"
I remember
You could
you
see us all
telling me
cringing.
6 years ago, I remember 7 years ago now when I was getting my license, I remember calling you and being like, I'm thinking of getting my real estate license. You kind of laugh because I think you get that call all the time.
A
You
lot.
said I was the first person to ever call you where you're like, you're actually a good idea.
Yes.
I was like, well, thank you.
Most people, I actually say no, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because this is not a part-time friends and family on the side. I work for the city, and I think that's going to be a good. No, this is not a.
And you learned that the hard way. Let's be honest. When John started 11 years ago,
Weren't
Yeah.
you doing it part
Yes.
time when
You were working at Target.
oh, very much.
And literally like a month or two in, I mean, because you hit the ground running. You're very tenacious. You hit the ground running. You were like, I can't do this part time. You put your resignation into Target like that.
Yeah, but that was the hardest decision because I said I'm going to leave
scary.
health insurance. I'm going to leave my guaranteed income. I just bought a house. I just gotten married, and I said I'm just going to walk away from that on the hopes that I make a bunch of money, or enough to
Enough to
suffice
survive.
what was my income, and I did that first year. But yes, it is.
It's scary because we are independent contractors. It's not, we don't get health insurance or there's no guaranteed paycheck.
And you
there's
know
no
what?
paid time off or vacation.
Like, we're not shying people away from doing it. I think new blood is great. We get new
Absolutely.
good agents, and that's a great thing for this industry. Just, it is not the thing that, like, people think, oh, it's the easy thing.
Money
to
raining
get-
from
yeah,
the trees.
yeah. So it'll be interesting as
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
great resignation leads to more and more real estate agents.
Yeah.
Hey, Jelly.
You know, I saw some stat, only a third of Americans think it's a good time to buy a house.
Wow.
So it's the lowest share going back to 1978. That was in my Morning Brew newsletter yesterday.
I would say the majority of the calls I've gotten over the past month have been, we're thinking about it, but we're wondering about our timing. Is this bad? And so, yes, that is a conversation I'm having with a lot of
Sentiment.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be going forward as we walk this.
We're gonna have to shine off our crystal balls and work on our future telling.
They said, the Warrens yesterday said, we know you don't have a crystal ball, but I'm like, oh gosh, but
Oh no.
let me.
Yeah.
Okay, one more thing. Selling the OC. It's the Selling Sunset spinoff on Netflix, guys. It's coming to our city or our area.
Do we know any of the?
No, I looked at the list of names, and I mean,
agents
they're
that
all
are gonna-
people who sell, like $50 million, like
Oh,
a
okay.
$19.5 million house in Corona Del Mar is going to sell in the debut. So these aren't agents that we're encountering all that often
Okay.
because we sell to the common normal person, not
The bread and butter.
I mean, if you want me to sell your $19.5 million house,
Sure
don't get me wrong,
thing.
I will do
We're-
a beautiful
We're
job.
all about it.
We've got a really nice one coming in Temecula at the end of this year.
Oh, we
We've
have a
got
fantastic
plans, but
vineyard home, single story estate. Yes.
Yeah.
the videos we have planned, we can't
Yes.
wait. So we can do it, but it's just,
Yeah.
we don't know any of the agents.
Well, that'll be fun to watch.
Cool.
And then keep us posted on what happens with Opendoor.
Please.
I
When
will.
they send an actual human.
I will. I
Yeah.
can't wait. I'm looking forward to it more than you know.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for
Thanks.
hanging with us.
See you next week.